Welcome back to Repo Rethink Politics, where we return back to our discussion on how to influence any other voters from outside of the norm. E, could you take it from here?
I mean, it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to change their minds, I think you're wasting your time. To be honest with you, I think that's what the whole grassroots and the whole the campaigns that these candidates are running and these congressmen are running. I mean, that's what that's for. That's supposed to change people's minds. I don't think the media should be trying to change people's minds. I think that's kind of the problem. That's why I think it was going on. I think that's the reason why Trump's president, because you got the media that's following these crazy people. Well, I'm calling them crazy, but these people that are watching Fox News and all this, and then they end up believing what they see because they don't know any better. Somebody else is saying that the sky is red, and then they're like, no, it's actually blue. And they're like, what? The president said it's red, and my people say it's red, and I'm telling you it's red. What's wrong with you? CNN fake news, you know what I mean? And it's just like, what? Yeah, you sound crazy as hell. Then they keep showing those same people. They keep saying the sky's red. I mean, I'm just saying that's what I see when I see MSNBC at the border talking to Rangers to find out what they think about the wall, and I'm like, man, fuck the wall. Like, nobody wants the wall. Like, why are we talking about it? Like, that's the kind of talk to your audience. That's what Fox does so well. That's why people love them.
So it's kind of so the analogy is it's like the political version of Mad Max. Let's say Mad Max is running for president on Fury Road, and all these crazy motherfuckers. Y'all seen the movie, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you gotta ask that because sometimes he's like, I didn't see that yet.
Yeah. But Mad Max was, on Fury Road running for president. All these motherfuckers keep trying to kill him. Like, at what point do you say, maybe these aren't my voters? Like,
maybe these guys I don't want to turn because they still trying to kill me. Yeah.
So it's kind of like maybe he's to talk to other people like himself that, hey, here's my platform. Like, what do you think? And, what's your take? And at the very least, here's what I do like. I will say this. Vice does a great job of, it's a very compelling segment.
Oh, yes.
On YouTube where they do those focus groups.
Oh, I didn't see the focus
Y'all
group.
see those? Yeah.
So I just seen the HBO
liberals and Democrats, and they talk about issues. They had like a black group and with black conservatives. There was a gay black conservative who felt ostracized and such. And it's interesting. And interesting to see that dialogue. And to me, how about they do that? Let's let people just talk and, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that idea by itself, it feels like an obvious idea. Like, it's a great idea, but that's the kind of stuff that we don't see the elite networks.
Because here's what we see.
Do that.
They bring these quote unquote experts, but why not have like regular voters, regular people? Hey, I'm Chaz from Atlanta. Here's how I feel. And I just talk about here, I feel this way because of, X, Y, and Z. But somebody, who looks like me can feel 100% the other way.
But Chaz, I think they did that during the elections.
But you can't keep doing that during it. You have to do like full segments, like full ongoing issues, full reactions to issues. And,
You know what they do, right? They do those town halls, by the way. That's what they do.
Those aren't the same as
I
don't 6-8 people.
Yeah,
you know what
I don't feel comfortable with those because they still seem a bit staged.
Yeah, they are staged.
Yeah, so it's almost almost like when you buy in one of those house shows and like I'm looking for a house, but they already had the fucking house. And then they're just going to go around and just look at houses.
I can speak from experience on that, right?
Yeah, that's true. Damn, Chaz, you're right. I'm sorry. Damn. Yeah. So it feels like that. And it's kind of like if you don't go out and say, this is a restaurant down the street, and here I showed up down here. Let's ask a couple of people. And there you go. Some of them be like, well, I don't know yet. Thank you. I love the fact that you said you don't know. Not, are you a voter? Okay, now I'm going to interview you. You know what I'm saying? Roll up on a motherfucker and say, "What do you think?"
Roll down your window.
Roll down your window. What the fuck you think about Trump, man?
The drive-by polling.
Pop, pop.
Pop up questions on that ass.
So I just thought that was interesting when you talking about where the media isn't the most. It's not what you need to find out truly what people really need, and the Democrats are now asking the questions, and they saying it's about you, and they finally going to some of the areas who said y'all just ignored us, y'all just going to the Detroits, the Chicagos, the New Yorks, the Baltimores, the Atlantas. What about us? So when you show up there, they're kind of like, oh shit, you came here? Yeah, fuck yeah, I came here.
But what do small cities need? What do I'm still?
They need jobs.
But here's my contradiction about things. Like I really am torn about this because a lot of people go to these schools in the fucking country and then move to the big cities anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So what's the message there?
So the message should be, I'm going to try to give you the resources you need, whether it's education or, these big businesses that's actually saying, you know what, I'm not going to Iowa. I'm not going to South Dakota. I'm not going to Missouri. And you'd be like, well, these are the incentives for you because these are the people that will support whatever you bring to that place. Okay.
So I don't want to say fuck the small towns, but it's kind of like you. Say it. So New York is such a great example to me because if I go to fucking Syracuse or Buffalo and I work in Manhattan, the message is the big cities matter. The big cities have the industry. The big cities have the infrastructure for large companies. Where was Amazon considering? Places around large populous, metropolis areas. So when you talk about what do these voters want, it's kind of like a part of me is like, well, you may have to fucking move.
But I think you narrowed it down to cities. I think you should narrow it down to states. Because states.
What's an example?
So we're continuing to lose Kansas. We're continuing to lose Alabama. So Alabama changed because black women came out in Alabama. And the people started talking to the black women in all the whole areas of Alabama to make sure that the pedophile guy didn't win. But people wasn't going to Alabama. Congressman Rangel was like, who the fuck wants to go down to damn Alabama? And they was like, damn, that's an insult. And he was like, but it ain't. Though? It's not. And then he had to say it because they was pressuring the shit out of him.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, these people in these states.
But you got to win states because that's where your electorate. Yeah. And you got to win those.
Here's my thing. And Mike, did you hear my script about the flyover states?
The who? The flyover? No, I didn't hear that one yet.
Look, here's unpopular opinion number 1,000.
Okay.
It's just like here's what we need to do. It's just I think we need to become like Europe and be like, all these states is just nonsense. We don't need a North and South Dakota. We don't need. First of all, when the last time you considered going to Nebraska? And when is the next time you go to Nebraska?
Damn.
Montana.
No time.
Yeah.
When the next, you know what? So I'm in the film. Besides Sundance, the Sundance Festival, why would I go to Utah? Unless I have friends or family there, why I literally wouldn't go if I didn't know anybody or go to Sundance.
But what's your argument?
My argument, so the point, you're asking the point. So let's consolidate all these states around the most populous city around them. So the Midwest would be Chicago. The Northeast would be New England. The tri-state area would be New York City. Pennsylvania would just be Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying?
You're not going to win.
Pittsburgh.
You're not going to win.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but you're not going to win. You're not going to win.
Well, so you mean to tell me what the fuck is in New Mexico I have to cater to?
Well, I mean, you know what you got to cater to? You got to cater to those votes.
Yeah, there's people that don't want what you want. So there's people out there that literally, like, they just want to, like, sit on their haystack and just relax in the middle of nowhere. There's millions of people like that.
What I'm saying is and this may be more
lay down in your
indictment.
barn, you know.
In their barn, just chill out. Yeah.
But this
And
may
they
be more,
honestly, and there's a lot of them too that I know only because I went to Virginia Tech in the middle of the Western Virginia, down there near West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's people that they're cool. They'd be in this conversation with us. You know, but then like if they're not around a lot of black people, they can get tricked into thinking Trump is a genius.
get tricked.
Yeah, I'm dead
Who the fuck
serious.
gets tricked anymore?
People
A
that
lot of
don't- ignorant
motherfuckers,
people.
dude. A lot.
Yeah, there's
You tricked me.
I promise you. Bro, I promise you. If I could grab you and just bring you to Blacksburg, right? And then just take you a couple miles outside
that's
of
another reason I
Blacksburg.
say Blacksburg. Fuck that state.
So
Well-
but it's still Virginia though. See, again, you still not understanding that those votes will still get the
I
state.
get it. No, on a surface level, I'm being tongue in cheek, obviously, but it's
Yeah.
more
No, you
like
don't. No, I'm just kidding.
We do get it, but
no, it's just more like if I'm running for president, of course, like at the end of the day, we're all Americans, it's all United States.
oh.
But it's still like it's frustrating. But yeah, because where's when you look at the percentage of GDP, it has to be coming from a certain amount. You can probably guess where a lot of GDP is coming from.
So you're trying to get the people, you're trying to get the higher populations. You're trying to get people that are smarter, I guess, or more educated people.
I'm not even going that route. I'm just saying literally GDP. You can't tell me. So that's why I like New York.
So do you
You
realize
fuck
that's
about
why?
Buffalo and Syracuse? Why?
So do you realize that's why Hillary lost?
Yeah, that's exactly why she lost.
Because she went to the elitist areas and said
no,
it doesn't really
That's-
matter. I don't have to hit those.
If I'm running
Well-
for president,
Mm-hmm.
I'm obviously going to go to those places.
No,
What I'm
you're
saying
obviously
is-
not.
No. What I'm saying is, it's frustrating because I feel like the demands of these people versus what the people are doing there. Obviously, a lot of people leave these small towns. They have brain drain. A lot of these big schools in these rural places. Where do they go? They go to the school in the next biggest city.
I got you.
People in Clemson, they come to Atlanta. A lot of them come to Atlanta or probably go to DC, but they're not going to stay.
Look, I got to stop you there. All right. So, I mean, a little personal, a little background. So my wife and I, we lived in DC, lived there for about a decade. We moved up to New York, she got a nice job and everything, and we're working right by the city. But we've been here we're going on a year and a half now. We're thinking about going back down south. You know what I mean? Because it's crowded, the traffic is terrible. It's cold. We're like, what's in Florida? What's in North Carolina? We don't want to go back to Virginia. So
Okay.
And I did the research. There's a lot of people moving down south from New York.
You know what? That's very okay. Where?
North Carolina is one. Well, Florida is one, and then North Carolina is two. Raleigh's growing like crazy right now.
Yeah.
Like really growing. Some city in South Carolina. It's the Carolinas, basically. It's like 1, 2, 3, like going south. I mean, DC is obvious, but I don't consider that like the South. But my point is, there's like a east migration is what they call it. If you look at like the top 5 cities, Florida and the Carolinas are like top 3. And no offense to Georgia, but like that's kind of what's going on. It's just there's a lot of people. I don't know about the West Coast, or I don't know about the rest of the country. I know the East Coast. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are moving down south, man. They're doing exactly what Mike did, a long time ago. Yep. They're just going. My parents they went down south. I mean, that's just Sometimes
there's a reasoning for that, but I want to hit you with something that you keep saying, and this is where a lot of liberals or Democrats are losing, because they're actually thinking the way you do and say, let me go where the most populated area who has a lot more liberals.
You guys
let me finish my thoughts. Let me finish my thought real quick. It's not about the
votes.
Yeah, so I'm always talking about the votes because we talk about politics. Because if it's a political thing, then that's where you actually should go. So you do realize that the gerrymandering issue is coming up for Maryland and North Carolina.
Ooh.
Now, it's not for the Republicans. It's actually for the Democrats. because the Democrats did a gerrymandering to ensure that they always win Maryland and these portions of North Carolina. So if you circle these people in the minority areas, that's where you get your votes from. And then you're going to say, well, that's the portion that has that, and they only have a small portion of these Republicans. So if you don't hit those small areas, the percentage within the state, because of gerrymandering, you're still going to lose. So if you hit the small areas to ensure that they're getting what others are getting, you're going to win that. It's a game which is ridiculous, but it's something that if you don't think about trying to get votes, you're going to lose. I think EU said that, or maybe it was you, Chaz, that if you don't do this grassroots stuff, then you're going to lose, because these people are waiting. They was like, no one cares for us. And then when a white man say, you see these liberal Negroes are coming down there, they don't care about you. They live in the city and they want a handout, and they believe it.
And that's my point, is like, okay, maybe I should have clarified. I wasn't speaking more from a running for candidate perspective. I'm more so speaking from a reality in terms of just having relatives in these small places.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a cousin. She comes to Atlanta all the time. She lives in Bama.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like, these quote unquote demands. We're not being heard.
Right.
It's like, fuck you. What are you talking about? So my frustration is just knowing people in these cities, and it's like, it's a big deal when you get like a new store or a new Walmart or a new this or that. It's just like, well, if you don't want to be big city, what kind of jobs do you expect? So if I'm a company, why would I come to your town?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just speaking on that level. So it's just.
So why don't you flip it back to what we talked about our last show, which was illiteracy.
Man.
There's people within these areas that don't know how to move and don't know how to progress.
No,
but
I'm not talking about poor people.
No, I'm not talking about poor people either.
Uneducated.
I'm talking about the uneducated and people who are illiterate to the point that they cannot understand that there's a better way of doing something. But since this is the town I was raised in, and things should come to me. And then if it doesn't come to me, then I resent anything outside of things coming to me. And if someone tells me that these people think they're better than you, the one thing that they may know how to do is pull that lever when it's time to vote.
Right. And I think for me,
that's dangerous.
It's literally that's all I'm saying is the University of Florida graduates are coming to Atlanta.
You're damn right.
We have, so I get the reverse, but again, what you're saying is you're ideal. So if someone from the stereotypical up north is too crowded, too loud, too much, too expensive, whatever, traffic, and then you come down south, great. You're displacing one of these people who, have the bunking mentality, who's not gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's frustrating, because it's not like we're just being in these places. It's just like, what the, are you serious?
Sometimes I wonder if we're in a different, generation now, just a different era with the internet and everybody being connected, with easier ways to get around.
That's very fair.
And it's almost like you can almost live wherever you want, and then you can get there. Not that people could just go out and just get plane tickets and then fly out to whatever you want.
The awareness is there. You can literally see a video goes viral in another place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm seeing another place. You're aware that my small town isn't the center of the universe.
Yeah. Right. And a lot of tech companies are doing like remote work now. You can kind of work wherever you want. I mean, the internet by itself, you could sit there and work in Nebraska or someplace in the middle of Nebraska and feel as connected as me and you are on the internet. You know what I mean? It's more about schools and big cities. So it makes sense about your friend that lives in Bama, goes out to Atlanta here and there. She probably loves it in Alabama, but it's like she can only get, the city life in doses. So now she gets the best of both worlds.
Yeah. I mean, so it's just, that's all I'm saying from that demand perspective.
Right, but what I'm also saying is, I wonder if, and I think you were saying this too, if Democrats need to, they they need to adjust. They need to adapt to that. Then adapt to their people now, or their followers, the people that believe what they believe. I think they have an old school mentality where they go to those big cities. They go to where the higher populations are, and they're not focusing on the right areas.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's actually what Trump was really good at. And he did that really well.
The Democrats are hoping that those people from Alabama who came to see them in Atlanta will vote for them because they left those rural areas and came to the big city. But everyone doesn't have the opportunity to do that. But I wanted to touch on what on the positive side, Chaz, what E was saying. So Gwinnett County was a Republican county.
Absolutely.
So now that people are moving into here, they don't want to go to South Side. They don't want to go to the West Side or even the East. So they're going northern. So as these white people are moving out of this area and they're saturating that other sector or county where people vote at, all you doing is just making that a higher vote where you already changed one. Now you gain. So it's still changing for the best. You know what I'm saying? Because people are migrating in there. So even when you come down and say, let me look at these outskirts area, you still gaining because you're turning red areas blue because people are migrating down. Just like E said, hey, look, if I come back down, I may not want to go to Charlotte, but there's a town right outside of Charlotte, and I can get me a nicer house. I don't have to deal with the traffic. And that person and his family are changing that sector because of the voting block is changing. So that's the positive thing on what you're saying, though, Chaz. When you say focus on where the bulk of the people are, well, sometimes the bulk of the people are on the outskirts as well because they're coming in and saying, I'm not going directly
I'm
to
still
the city.
saying, you can hit that Battle Dome if you want to. Mad Max got to go to Fury Road. Like, hey, this part of Fury Road is fucked up.
Right.
But I might have some voters on that. You know what I'm saying? So just be smart. Is what I'm saying.
But voters are voters, whether they in a movie or a damn state. So we have to just take that from that. But we're gonna move into our episode where we finish off the Mueller case and some other miscellaneous news that hit at the same time that the Mueller case actually concluded. Also, big shout out to Zuri Productions for the music intro and outro. See you next time.